It's been a whole day, and the Silver Dragon Queen still shows no signs of waking up. Noah suspected that I had done something to her. I just smiled, but it was inconvenient to say anything to her. After sending my daughters out of the door, I looked at the Silver Dragon Queen and pondered for a while. To get back at her for what she did to me before, while she wasn't awake, I dressed her up according to my idea. However, at that moment, the dragon mark on my chest suddenly lit up. By now, it was evening. Roswitha was lying on the bed, still showing no signs of waking up. Her eyes were tightly closed, and her expression looked relaxed, as if she was sleeping as usual. After learning that Roswitha hadn't woken up, Noah and Muin both went to her room to visit her. Even the usually cheerful Muin showed a rare expression of sadness at this moment. She grabbed the edge of the bed with both hands, lowered her eyebrows, and looked at Roswitha on the bed with a worried expression. Noah stood next to Muin, her brow slightly furrowed. "Is Mom okay? She has been sleeping for a whole day now." Noah turned her head, crossed her hands in front of her chest, and looked at Leon standing next to her with a serious expression. She suspected that he did something bad to Mother last night. "What did you do last night?" Leon turned his head and didn't look directly into Noah's eyes. He scratched his head, but couldn't tell her about the activity between him and Roswitha last night. He lied to her nervously. Haha. Well, we were chatting on the balcony last night. Maybe she caught a cold in the cold wind at that time. After listening to the explanation, Noah looked at him with a skeptical expression on her face, as if she didn't quite believe what he was saying. Leon seemed to feel Noah looking at him with skeptical eyes. He realized that such an explanation could not dispel Noah's doubts, so he turned to Anna for help. "There's no big problem. Do you think so, Anna?" Noah and Muin looked at Anna together, wanting to know something from her. Anna nodded lightly and explained to Leon expressionlessly about the current situation of Roswitha. "Prince, please rest assured. Just now, the physician came to examine your Majesty's body. Except for a slight weakness, everything else is normal." Thanks to Anna's help, Leon breathed a light sigh of relief. Then Anna told Leon about her personal work schedule for the next steps. "I will temporarily handle matters within the clan on behalf of your Majesty in the next few days. If there's nothing else, Prince, I'll take my leave and get back to work." Leon nodded and replied to her, "Oh, okay." At this moment, for some unknown reason, Roswitha suddenly broke out in a lot of sweat. Her eyebrows were furrowed and her expression looked somewhat uncomfortable. Muin seemed to notice that his mother was very uncomfortable. She reached out and gently touched her mother's head, trying to ease her discomfort. "Mom, hurry up and get better. Muin won't make you angry anymore." Standing next to her, Leon looked closely and noticed that there was a lot of sweat on Roswitha's face and neck. He held his chin with one hand and pondered seriously why such a situation had occurred. Why did she sweat so much? "I'll wipe her down later." Noah thought Leon had bad intentions and wanted to take the opportunity to continue doing some bad things to her mother. She lifted her head and stared at him with unfriendly eyes, wary of his behavior. She asked Leon with a serious tone, Do you want to do something while Mother is unconscious? Her mother was lying unconscious in bed. It was hard not to believe that nothing had happened last night. Leon let out a soft sigh for Noah's persistent suspicion and vigilance towards him. He knew that he also had some responsibility for the situation of Roswitha. He didn't refuse. He bent down and looked sincerely at Noah, trying to dispel her concerns. Noah, you're overthinking. Now I just want to take good care of your mother. Noah raised an eyebrow and looked at the father in front of her, half believing and half doubting, answering his words. Is that so? That's good. Since her father said so, Noah didn't continue speaking. At this time, she and Muin should go back to their room to rest. She walked towards the door without looking back. She also spoke to Muin, who was standing by the bedside. Go back, Muin. Come visit Mom again tomorrow. Muin grabbed the bedsheet with one hand and clenched it gently into a fist with the other, feeling a bit reluctant to part with Roswitha, who was still lying in bed. She said to Roswitha with a sad expression on her face, Mom, Muin will come to visit you again tomorrow. Noah opened the door and left first, followed closely by Muin. Before leaving, Muin poked her head out and waved goodbye to Leon, saying good night to him. Good night, Dad. Leon smiled at her and waved his hand to her. Good night. After the door closed, the room returned to calmness. Leon turned around and looked at Roswitha. At this moment, he suddenly noticed a detail. He didn't see her big tail. In daily life, no matter at any time, any place, or what she is doing, her big tail will always be exposed. Leon held his chin and fell into thought. She usually showed her big tail, but I didn't expect her to be so weak now that she can't even show her tail. Roswitha still tightly closed her eyes, furrowed her brow, and exhaled slightly from her mouth. It seems that her body is still very uncomfortable. The sweat streaming down her face and neck soaked her nightgown. Leon noticed that her clothes were soaked with sweat and planned to help her change into a clean set of pajamas. Would it be better to help her change clothes as well? He opened Roswitha's wardrobe. There are not only a few hanging clothes in the wardrobe, but also some clothes packed in boxes. He expressed surprise at so many clothes. At this moment, he came up with an idea to retaliate against Roswitha. So many clothes. It's okay to change clothes according to my preferences, right? Once he was sure of what he wanted, Leon dug into his wardrobe and rummaged through the clothes he wanted to wear for Roswitha while whispering. Shoulder-bearing, low-cut, tie, black stockings. In no time, he took out all the clothes and accessories he had found. The clothes and accessories are ready, but Leon still has one problem to solve. He held his chin with one hand, leaned slightly down, and carefully observed her. Well, I have found similar styles of clothing to replace what I need, but how can I solve the problem with the ears? He divided her hair into 2 bundles with both hands and tried to braid her hair. Perhaps I can weave one with her hair. Discovered that her hair could be styled into the shape he wanted. He decided to solve the problem of not having ears in this way. Leon took off Roswitha's wet nightgown and put on the clothes and accessories he had just prepared. After a while of busyness, she put on the clothes that Leon had prepared for her. Upon seeing Roswitha wearing this outfit, Leon blushed slightly and couldn't help but show a silly smile. It's done.
Hey! Have you heard about it? SF Light Novel is going to share a new comic. I have already shared a new comic. The name of this comic is The Blonde-Haired Villain. In Girl Overlord novel, also longs for happiness. I have already shared the relevant content of this comic in this video. You can click on this video to learn about the comic story and character information. If you are interested, you can subscribe to my channel and wait for the sharing of new comic.